Yeah, so Will, the Affordable Housing Task Force has a couple recommendations for us. One of them is that we feel, or they feel, we need to have a couple, at least one or two full-time employees that are just dedicated to housing issues. That by having that, we'll have somebody that can focus on it, that can look for best practices, that can look for how we leverage all the different resources that are out there in order to be able to build the affordable housing that we truly do need to make this place uh, a great place for everybody to live, regardless of your income. Yeah, so we're not talking about the homeless folks. We're talking about the folks with jobs that are, being left behind. The definition of affordable housing for all of us is that we spend 30% of our income on housing, including utilities. That's the goal. But 50% of our population spends more than 30%. And so, we have some struggles, and I think the lack of availability artificially pushes the cost of housing up, and that causes us to have a challenge moving forward. So, maybe having a staff member, that was a surprise to me. I didn't expect that from the council. The thought about maybe some fee waivers for true affordability. In Colorado, in Jackson, places like that, they have inclusionary housing, which means if you're building a development, a percentage of that development has to be affordable, or you have to give cash in lieu. That was a recommendation that came from Longmont. In Boulder, that number is 25% of your project has to be affordable. In Longmont, it's 12%. Other places, it's 10. So I'm not sure that that's a good fit for Cheyenne and for Wyoming, but a lot of those ideas are being presented to us, and we need to look at all of them and figure out all the tools in the box moving forward. We talk about wind as I'm looking out my window, looking at the flags. The wind blows beautifully here, and so it's a great resource. But the other thing I think people love about Wyoming, and especially the Cheyenne area, is we have all these bright, sunshiny days. I mean, we have so many great days with great sunshine, and so a large solar farm, 150 megawatts, which is about equal to about half of what our current city use of electricity is looking to build a plant on the border between Cheyenne or between Wyoming and Colorado in Laramie County. And so we're excited about it. It's not going to create a lot of jobs, maybe one full-time job, but it's definitely going to create a very valuable facility that will help Cheyenne in its need for electricity. As all these data centers and stuff are coming, we do need manufacturing of electricity as a part of that. And so we should see this as being an additive, I think, for our community. Well, definitely yesterday was an eye opener for a lot of us with the snow, and a lot of the cars were really struggling, and everybody's got to learn how to drive, I think, a little bit in the weather again. But one of the things I hear a lot from constituents is that the concern about the way people drive, they drive too fast, and they're concerned for the safety in their neighborhood. And so our police department's made it a goal, I guess, to understand the problem and to see what they can do. And so they've done a lot of studies, and we have found that the majority of Cheyenne drivers do a great job and stay within the speed limit, but there are those that don't do that. Last year, 2021, we made just over 9,000 stops. Into September of this year, we've made 11, and I think if you extrapolate that to the end of the year, we'll be at 15,000 plus 15,000 stops. So we've made significantly bigger impact. We have more officers looking at that, trying to address the concerns. I know a lot of people think we don't do enough, but we have almost 400 miles of road, and so we can't just sit in one neighborhood the whole time. We're having to focus on areas and then go to other areas, and so we're going to continue to work on this issue. My thanks to everybody who drives the speed limit and drives safely. We really appreciate that, and my thanks to the police department for the focus they're making on making our community safer. Yeah, so Dr. Crespo is fantastic. We really enjoy our relationship with her, our access to be able to pick up the phone and call when we have questions or we have needs. So we feel like she's a real partner for us. And speaking of partnerships, we have for years had a great partnership. The city really doesn't own any gyms. And so when we do youth basketball and volleyball, and we do adult basketball and all the different programs that we do, we rely on the school district to help us with the gymnasium space in order to do that. But on the other hand, the school district doesn't own a golf course, and they have golf teams, right? And so, we close our golf courses a few times a year for tournaments. We block out time every day for their practices, and that's a costly endeavor for us also. We provide school resource officers, which they pay for. We do a lot of things together. And so we are very mutually, I think, dependent on each other. It's a great partnership. And we have some new folks in different positions. And so we're trying to make sure that that historical knowledge of that partnership isn't lost and make sure that we work forward, going forward together. Yeah. So I would tell you from my perspective as mayor, the fifth penny sales tax is an essential part of government for us. It's 80% of that is used. So about $40 million over the next 4 years will be used for roads and things that we need to make our roads safe. The potholes, the basic maintenance of our roads. It's a really important consideration there. It also provides the equipment and vehicles for our police department, our fire department, our animal control, our parks and recreation department. Those essential tools that we just don't have, we aren't able to fund in our general fund. Those things come out of those budgets, and a lot of those dollars are used in matches to be able to further leverage those dollars to do more. So for us, it's really become since 1978 a really essential part of our budget. And just as I said in last year with the sixth penny sales tax, we're so appreciative of the great support we get from the voters in order to recognize it. What I love about the fifth penny is we have to say, here's what we did with your money in the past, and thank you for that. And then we have to be accountable for that. And then we have to ask again for permission for the next 4 years. So I love the transparency that comes with that process.